As our MC hinted, I came from a family where we were 5, and my sister is here somewhere. Oh, there she is, Joyce, my follower. So you can imagine what happens to you when the firstborn, and my parents were teachers, when the firstborn goes to Alliance Girls, the secondborn goes to Alliance High School, and the thirdborn, who happens to be me, goes to a school where we were starting Form 1, a former teachers' college. So you can imagine what that does to you, your own confidence. But guess what? When you find yourself as the only class in a very serious Catholic school, you actually become the leader. You actually pick up yourself and are at the forefront of leading all kinds of groups. You're the prefect, you're what. And so when 1975 results come out, guess what? I think 2 of us ended up at Alliance Girls. And my confidence was really put back. But more important, actually, when I was looking back and thinking about today, was that I learned in this school, and I noticed this lady. We used to call her Auntie. Does that resonate with anyone? You know who Auntie is? A lady with a presence. A lady where there is no confusion about right and wrong. You don't walk past a piece of paper as you're walking past the school. You know what to do. And so I'm really struck by the order in the school. I'm struck by the way things are done in a very orderly manner. There's chapel time, as my predecessor said. There are classes, etc. But of course, I think for us who came from shags schools, I think the biggest struggle was to break through the different groups. You know what I'm talking about? Groups of established, people. So I must admit that was a challenge. And I pray those who are also associated with schools need to find ways to integrate newcomers, so to speak. Although maybe that doesn't exist anymore. But I think that's one of the biggest challenges when you come from a shag school, especially a rural school, for that matter, to actually get through, gain friends, gain the confidence of everyone. And so what stands out for me, really, I must say, I did not have the fun to do maybe some of what was described previously. We were very focused on and that was what Auntie was there to do, to get us to the university. And from 5 and 6, there was no time to joke, really. And so I have to admit that the thing which really stands out for me, which has carried me, I think, through my years, 30-something of years of my professional life, is that whole grounding on some values, or on very clear sense of why we are here, why you're here, what are you trying to do, where are you going. And that, I must say, influenced my choice of career. I remember before I went to Alliance, someone had convinced me that, you can get into the service industry without breaking at Form 4. And so later I realized, there are actually courses that are in line with what you want to do. And luckily I was able to find that. And so for me, when I think of Alliance, I think of this place where I was grounded on some values, on on a culture, on, a very strong sense of social justice. And I think that has propelled my career, because ever since I left the university, I've continued to pursue the rights of people who are disadvantaged, the rights of people who are on the margins of society, most of whom would never be in a room like this one. And these are the people we often forget about. And as time went by, I realized it was not enough to actually do, some good. I needed to find ways of helping those kind of individuals scale up and create institutions that would allow them to have a much greater impact in society. And so for most of my life, and especially in the last 12 years, I have what I call heroes. And these are the heroes of people who make me wake up, often stay awake in the night, because of their passion, of their commitment, sometimes to help girls. Earlier on, we were talking about Alliance Girls being behind in its formation. Sometimes to help women who are not empowered and who need to rise up and feel confident that they can make a living. Sometimes to help youth who are being misused by our famous politicians. And as I thought of today, I just thought of three heroes. And the first one that came to mind is a young man, right in Korogosho. Actually, his real name is Sam Gathi. Sam has been so concerned about our young people who are roaming in the streets, who live, they can't go beyond Form 4. And what he does is actually to help them figure out very, very down-to-earth ways of making a living and increase their confidence, so that he tells me when a young man has 100 or 1,000 shillings, he will actually put up his hand and raise a question, because he has confidence. Money gives power. And I did not know that when you buy a bag of maize, green maize, for 300, by lunchtime or thereabout, as you sit on the roadside, you can actually make over 2,000 shillings. And that gives you confidence not to be hanging around and not to be misused by anyone.